What is going on, my peeps? And man, Versatile is back with another video. Back here with another build. And yes, this is Hulk, the World Breaker Hulk. Yes. Or Planet Cracker. Either one. I like the name of the names of the gear that they have for him. It really suits him. But I think I'm going to go with World Breaker because he's been finely tuned to break worlds, break robots, break faces. So if we go ahead and check it out, as you see with his stats, he's a little bit more stat heavy, right? Melee and heroic specifically. I want that thunderclap to do damage. I want both of his support and heroic abilities to do damage. And as you see, he looks like he's about ready for that action. Now, if we go in here real quick, I didn't realize we had a piece of gear, and I think I wanted to check it out to see what I had it up against. And I might switch this out. I'm not 100% certain yet, but this does do plasma damage instead, so I don't think I'll do that. But let's see what we got going on. So we got the World Breakers and Fusion on him, Might, Proficiency, Resilience, Gamma damage, 20% increased status damage when using a grabbed enemy, and increase the amount of overcharge energy gain from each attack by 15%. This is how you can keep the rage, you know, charged up for the Hulk. And mind you, if you use rage by holding R2 and then, hold square to attempt to grab enemies, his chances of grabbing enemies skyrocket. So and that's against all, well, not all, but all except for the Dreadbot and the Exo, of course. But like Riot Bots and Prime Synthoids, Keepers, this does a great Spin Bots. This does its thing if you hold R2 with and hold square, to attempt to grab him. He has a much higher chance. Now, I don't know if that was a secret tune that they didn't let anybody know about, but grabbing enemies is a lot more fun with him, and then grabbing two and slamming them together. Whoa. So, World Breakers Infusion on Hulk, Gamma damage. Ranged, more Gamma damage. Adept Inspiration Enhancer. Proficiency Might Valor. Willpower Burst with small debris. Gamma damage with large debris. And then critical hit chance increase for power attacks. Way useful for him, especially with critical hits. And one thing that I don't have going on for him as much, I do, and I think it was something that I didn't quite realize until I tried it with my Black Panther. And shout out to Josh Blue also. Josh Blue helped give me the tip on looking into intensity. Is one of the supporters of the channel, so shout out to him for that ability, that tip. And by the way, this is called Adept Inspiration Enhancer. I go into defense, resilience, resolve, intensity. We got the Jarvis barrier when parrying attacks, and then increased gamma damage done by 20%, and increased willpower regeneration while rage is active by 200%. So with gaining overcharge energy to charge rage, when you use rage, not only will it increase your chances of grabbing enemies, with this World Breakers alloy, it also doubles the speed of your willpower recovery or regeneration. So this is the way he can stay alive, so you don't have to think too hard about your defensive rating with this build. And one piece that I'm interchangeably switch out is this one, just because it gives me a stat boost if I really needed it. And then if we go to heroic, I have the Stimulator of the Storm, which provides a Tachyon surge, which also increases the status damage, more gamma damage, a increase in damage. So you're looking at a total of 40% basically for gamma damage, and then increase the charge rate of the heroic support by 18%. And this is where some more intensity is on this piece here. Beautiful, beautiful. Now here's a piece that's cool. Tachyon surge, gamma, increased charge rate. It was tempting, very tempting, but I like the intensity because of the status effect that you can do with the Hulk. And this is where he does way more damage, is with the gamma, or basically status damage, and his melee. And when you equip the gear that actually specializes in that, Hulk does crazy damage. Now looking at ISO, of course, increased damage from heavy combo finishers, which works. And this is a triple might, and then it gets damage reduction, spin resistance. And then I have the yellow ISO. I have not gotten a triple valor yet, I don't know if I'm as interested. I mean, why not? This is increased damage from power attacks, and heroic assault increases the charge rate by 9.3%. I kind of want to put another. I mean, I could do this because it's, and then this increases the critical hit chance as well. Now, here's what's interesting. If I switch this out for proficiency, so nothing happens with intensity. So I don't, and his proficiency is decent enough. So, you know, other stuff gets increased, and as I use him more, he'll get more champion points. That way I can increase his perk chance and critical chance. But that is the gear that I have associated with him, and of course lethal will, because why not? But I'm probably gonna switch this back on over to the Tachyon because of the status effect that damage that he will be doing, so, or status damage basically. So I think that's what I like going on right here, and of course I got the beautiful regular look of the Hulk right there. Now before we get into the skills in terms of what he looks like, if you haven't already, make sure you guys ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that way you never miss my videos. That way we can sit back, chillax, see what's cracking. And also let me know down in the comment section below, does this help you with your Hulk? What ideas or what's your thought process in terms of building your Hulk out, or your favorite hero? Do you like gamma damage? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now let's get back to the video and to the skills. So going into the skills, in terms of his support, I use Bone Shaker regeneration. Defeat 5 enemies with Bone Shaker to restore all willpower. So again, a way for you to keep health and not sweat it too much. Then I use Savage Heroism, defeats enemies with who are taunted by Bone Shaker, causing them to drop heroic orbs. So Hulk is probably the best one when it comes to taunt abilities and taking advantage of taunt. And then you got Irradiated Destruction on the ground, or on the final slam. The impact causes massive gamma damage basically, and as long as enemies are inside the hazardous area, they will take a small amount of additional damage as well as gamma damage. Guess what? With Quell from the Tachyon, intensity, which increases status meter damage, you're gonna do a ton of damage with this, and that's why I like using it. Now of course I could have went with something like this, deals 200% more stun damage, but I'm good. I mean, that's takedowns all day. And then this is a heroic orb. I'm like, nah, going with that irradiation, baby. And then on the other side, I use Barbaric Charge, which taunts nearby enemies and instantly overcharges rage. That's beautiful because guess what? Charge their health up, charge them attacks up, charge grabbing abilities up, charge damage up, baby. And this is something about a regen pack or gain an additional charge of Stranglehold. Not a bad idea, but I like taunting and having that rage because you're gonna come on, baby. And then that, well, it depends on if you activate them at the same time. But if you could activate them at the same time, all that does wonders. And then for the ultimate, I got Ground Zero, which also gamma damage, baby. And then it regenerates willpower every second for teammates within the area. I think this also applies to Hulk. I hadn't really paid attention, but all this gamma damage, it's like increase intensity and use perks that increase gamma damage. And I have two that basically increase it by 40%. Hulk is nearly unstoppable with this. So Thunderclap also, you know, has a chance to drop heroic orbs. I don't know why a lot of this is around that, but you could also do this too. You know, you can taunt them with Thunderclap, and then I could. What's his charge rates at? 12, 21, and 30. Not too bad. I guess I'll keep it there, but this isn't a bad idea either. Taunting them and just attracting that attention. You get rage, so just use rage and pummel people, and as long as you're holding R2 to rage attack, you shouldn't be interrupted as much. So that also works when holding triangle to do his power attack, slamming the ground. Throwing a temper tantrum does massive damage as well. If we go to his masteries, it got Vice Grip, attack with held enemies are now protected from interruption from enemy attacks. However, the damage will still be applied. Now these I haven't actually checked out in a while, so we might sit here and see if we can change a few of these. Let's see. Held enemies take 30% less damage on hit with light grab combos. What? Durable bludgeon? Why would you want them to take less damage? Nah, I'm good on that. And then holding R2 while holding a grab enemy to absorb incoming damage for focus dropping enemies when successful. Okay, that's interesting, but no. Increase damage and impact of held enemies. I like that. Let's see. Now you could do this too. 15% improved chance grab attempts will succeed against evasive enemies. So if you want to also increase his ability to do that, I suggest you could do that too. Matter of fact, let's do that, because grabbing people with the Hulk is kind of fun now, especially after being able to pounce around with Black Panther. And then I have it on heroic orb because it makes sense for him. Now ranged, increased damage from small debris, which is perfect because he doesn't have a lot of range, so it's like you might as well. I don't care about that, and that's neat, but I'm good. And then here, increase range attack damage by 15%. So those is what helps him do damage with his range, because it's like, why not? And then you can throw enemies too. Oh, that's right. I guess you could, but I've never paid attention to that. Oh, as a thrown object. Okay, that's neat, but I'm good. And then here, increase light and heavy attack damage by 30% when using small as a debris. Increase speed and pickup. I'd rather have that. Yep. Then we go to intrinsic. Increase the charge rate of all heroic meters by 15% while rage is active. So also using rage charges heroics, which then when using your heroics, instantly recharge and or activate rage or overcharges the Hulk. So he just stays in rage mode. So definitely keep this stuff in mind when you're building out Hulk. Rage and recovery. You can also go willpower if you are struggling with willpower. And then you can increase his defensive strength by 15% while rage is active as well. So you can make him a little bit more impenetrable. If you wanted to build a tank build, this is something you could look into here with raging defense as opposed to raging heroics. Then increase all damage by 15%, of course. You increase the damage of light and heavy combo finishes by 25%. I used to use that. Increase damage by 15% when using held enemies. I'm good. Let's see, increase the intrinsic energy gained by 15% when defeating combatants with held enemies. Reduces the initial cost of triggering rage. And increases the maximum amount of intrinsic rage energy. I like maximum rage. This isn't bad either. Controlled rage, I like that. Let's see. And then for intrinsic overcharge, increase the critical attack chance by 15%. Makes sense. Increases impact while overcharged by 25%. Okay. And then you have increased defensive strength. So again, you want to build a tank, go defensive boost and defensive rage or whatever. And then you got increase all damage by 20%, of course. You got stun damage, and then you got status damage as well. That's not a bad idea considering what we got going on. But I also like damage overall. Then of course hothead, increase the amount of overcharged intrinsic rage energy gain for all attacks. I like that. Increase overcharged energy gain from takedowns and reduces the rate at which overcharged energy drains, allowing you to stay overcharged longer. Now I also like this. You know, you got damage, but then you can also stay charged longer. A kind of a moot skill, I guess. And in terms of champion points, this is early getting points, and I was just putting it on everything, and since then I've been able to control what I put it on. This will probably be the next one right here, and permanently boost stun and status damage. But that's the skills and the gear that we got going on with Hulk. Now for a mission.
If you can gain control of AIM's network temporarily, I can infiltrate their security system. Head for the terminal so I can get you inside the lab.
This is without rage. It's the damage he does without rage. See that? And I'm not even using the heavy combo finisher. That's a light combo finisher. That's the amount of damage he can do. Okay. Now I'm about to show you heavy combo finisher damage,
AIM's network
and then
is equipped
of course
with a multi-point
just damage
authentication system.
with Hulk.
I need access to multiple terminals.
Oh
The
man,
more the better.
wrong drop zone for this.
AIM will attempt to initiate a shutdown protocol if they gain access to the terminals. You cannot let them.
Where? Yeah.
The shutdown protocol is progressing.
And oof. Now, of course, he doesn't have enough health to really properly display just how much damage that
I'm
is.
inside AIM's security system.
A little bit of charge.
That helps, thank you. Beginning infiltration.
Boom, 38,000 damage. You see that? 15,000 on the swing. Parry. Get on out of here. Alright, what we got going on now? Get him out of here. Got the Jarvis barrier.
Protocol is progressing. I'm inside AIM's security system. AIM has initiated their shutdown protocol.
Oh, perfect example right here.
Helps, thank you.
Rata, ta. See that? See how from one from one assault heroic,
I'm inside AIM's security system.
and then activating Bone Shaker. I need you to stay up here, right?
AIM is trying to
Some
remove
potential.
me from their system. Beginning infiltration.
Oh, that's messed up. See, I already have my assault heroic back too.
I've breached AIM's security network.
That's Hulk for you. Now, it wasn't the greatest drop zone to display his power, but you got to see just how much power he does against an Exo with one assault heroic. Instant destroyed. And almost instant destroyed on everything else. So this is a solid World Breaker Hulk build for you. Hopefully you guys appreciate and enjoyed it. Again, as always, if you haven't already, make sure you guys ignite the like, the
Excellent
channel,
work,
that notification
Avengers.
bell, so that way you know this my
I was
videos.
able to obtain
That way we
several
can sit back and
terabytes
see
of
what's
vital
cracking.
AIM
Man
intel.
Versal signing out until the
It
next
will take me some time
video
to analyze,
or
but it
next
should
live
prove a boon for the
stream.
Resistance.
Wait for